Domain 2. Process makes up 50% of the PMP exam, and it starts with a task that catches many candidates off guard, not because it is technically complex, but because it requires a shift in thinking. Task 1 is not about executing tasks faster. It is about executing with the right sense of urgency, always keeping the focus on business value, not just on completing deliverables. In this video, I'll break down Task 1 completely, the 3 enablers, what the exam actually tests, how Agile teams apply urgency differently, and I'll finish with a practice question. Let's get into it. Task 1 sits in Domain 2, Process, which makes up 50% of the PMP exam. The full task statement is, execute project with the urgency required to deliver business value. There are 3 enablers. First, assess opportunities to deliver value by engaging the customer. Second, examine the business value throughout the project. Third, support the team to subdivide project tasks as necessary to find the minimum viable product. 3 enablers, and each one shifts focus from outputs to outcomes. The exam tests whether you understand that delivering on time and on budget is not enough. The project must deliver actual business value. The most important concept in Task 1 is the distinction between outputs and outcomes. An output is what the project produces, a software system, a building, a report. An outcome is the benefit that output delivers: reduced costs, increased revenue, faster processing, safer operations. The PMP exam consistently tests whether project managers keep their eye on outcomes, not just outputs. A project can deliver every planned output on time and on budget and still fail to deliver business value if the outputs do not produce the intended outcomes. Task 1 is PMI's way of saying the project manager is accountable not just for what is built, but for whether it delivers the value the organization invested in. The first enabler is assess opportunities to deliver value by engaging the customer. The project manager does not wait until the end of the project to ask if value is being delivered. They engage the customer continuously throughout execution. This engagement has 2 purposes. First, it surfaces opportunities to deliver additional value that were not identified in initial planning. Requirements evolve, business contexts change, and customers often discover new needs as they see the project develop. Second, it provides early warning when the project is drifting away from its intended value. A customer who is regularly engaged will raise concerns early, before the project is too far down the wrong path to correct. On the exam, any scenario where a customer is surprised by the final product points to a failure of this enabler. The second enabler is examine the business value throughout the project. Business value is not assessed once at the start and once at the end. It is monitored continuously. The business environment changes during project execution. Market conditions shift, organizational priorities evolve, competitor actions change the landscape. A project that was high value at initiation may be significantly less valuable 6 months into execution. The PMI-aligned project manager recognizes this and raises the issue proactively. On the exam, when a scenario describes external changes that affect the project's business case, the correct answer involves reassessing the project's value, not simply continuing execution as planned and hoping the original business case still holds. The third enabler is support the team to subdivide project tasks to find the minimum viable product. This enabler is where Agile thinking enters Task 1 most explicitly. The minimum viable product, or MVP, is the smallest version of the deliverable that still provides meaningful value to the customer. Instead of building the complete solution before anyone sees any value, the team identifies what can be delivered first to demonstrate value quickly. This approach reduces risk. If the MVP reveals that the customer's needs are different from what was assumed, The project can adjust before significant resources have been committed to the wrong direction. On the exam, MVP scenarios test whether you prioritize early value delivery over comprehensive but delayed delivery. Business value is the central concept of Task 1, and PMI defines it broadly. Tangible business value includes financial benefits, revenue increase, cost reduction, market share growth, return on investment. These are measurable in monetary terms. Intangible business value includes non-financial benefits, brand reputation, employee morale, customer satisfaction, regulatory compliance, competitive positioning. These are real and significant even though they are harder to quantify. On the exam, when a question asks about business value, do not limit your thinking to financial returns. A project that improves customer satisfaction or reduces regulatory risk is also delivering business value, even if the financial impact is indirect. In predictive projects, urgency means maintaining focus on value delivery at every milestone, not just at project closure. The project manager monitors whether planned deliverables still align with the original business case as the project progresses. When scope creep threatens to dilute value, the PM addresses it immediately through change control, not by quietly absorbing additional work. When external changes threaten the project's business case, the PM raises the issue with the sponsor and recommends reevaluation, even if the recommendation is to stop the project. On the exam, urgency in predictive projects is tested through scenarios where the PM must choose between continuing as planned and reassessing in response to new information. The PMI answer always reassesses when business value is at risk. In Agile projects, urgency is not a separate task. It is built into the delivery rhythm. Every sprint or iteration is designed to deliver working, valuable product as quickly as possible. The product backlog is prioritized by business value. The highest value items are delivered first. This means the team is always working on what matters most, and stakeholders see value from the earliest sprints. Sprint reviews are the primary mechanism for examining business value continuously. The customer sees working software, provides feedback, and the team adjusts. This is Enabler 1 and Enabler 2 operating simultaneously in every sprint cycle. On the exam, Agile scenarios involving urgency will test whether you understand that value delivery is continuous, not deferred until the end of the project. 3 traps that catch candidates on Task 1 questions. Trap 1. Confusing schedule and budget success with value delivery. A project completed on time and on budget has not necessarily delivered business value. The exam tests this distinction explicitly. The PMI answer focuses on outcomes, not metrics. Trap 2. Waiting until project closure to assess value. Task 1 requires continuous value assessment throughout the project lifecycle. Any answer that defers value review to the end is wrong. Trap 3. Treating MVP as a compromise. The minimum viable product is not a reduced version of what was promised. It is a strategic tool for delivering value early and learning from real customer feedback. The exam rewards this thinking. Task 1 does not operate in isolation. It connects directly to several other Domain 2 tasks. Task 4. Engage stakeholders. Customer engagement in Enabler 1 is stakeholder engagement in practice. The tools are the same. Task 10. Manage project changes. When value examination reveals that the project is drifting, the response goes through change control. Urgency does not bypass process. Task 17. Project closure. The final value assessment at closure connects back to the baseline value expectation established in Task 1. Did the project deliver what was promised? On integrated exam questions, Task 1 thinking often appears alongside these other tasks. The correct answer addresses value, process, and stakeholder engagement simultaneously. Let's recap Task 1. Execute with urgency to deliver business value. Enabler 1. Engage the customer continuously to identify value opportunities and catch drift early. Enabler 2. Examine business value throughout the project, not just at start and end. Enabler 3. Subdivide tasks to find the MVP and deliver value as early as possible. The core principle: the project manager is accountable for outcomes, not just outputs. On time and on budget is not success if the deliverables do not produce the intended business value. Let's test your understanding. Question: a project is 6 months into a 12-month execution phase. The project manager learns that a significant market shift has occurred, and the business value of the project's planned deliverables has reduced substantially. The project is currently on schedule and within budget. What should the project manager do? Option A. Continue executing as planned since the project is on schedule and on budget. Option B. Immediately stop the project to avoid wasting further resources. Option C. Raise the issue with the project sponsor, present the impact on business value, and recommend a formal review of the project's continued viability. Option D. Reduce the project scope to lower costs and improve the remaining ROI without informing the sponsor. The correct answer is C. This is a textbook Task 1 scenario. The business value of the project has changed. Enabler 2 requires continuous examination of business value throughout the project. The project manager's responsibility is to surface this issue proactively and support an informed decision by the sponsor. Why not A? Being on schedule and on budget is irrelevant if the deliverables no longer deliver the intended business value. Continuing without raising the issue fails the core responsibility of Task 1. Why not B? Stopping immediately without a formal review bypasses governance and the sponsor's decision-making authority. Why not D? Reducing scope without informing the sponsor violates transparency and change control process. This is not the PM's unilateral decision to make. C is correct because it is proactive, transparent, and routes the decision through the right authority. That is your complete guide to PMP Domain 2, Task 1. Execute with urgency to deliver business value. Subscribe for more PMP exam prep. Next up, Manage Communications. Domain 2, Task 2 explained. See you in the next video.